Okay, so just a disclaimer for Dr. Walliser before I start this. This lesson plan is normally supposed to take about an hour and a half, but I'm condensing it today to 15 minutes, so I'm going to cut out actually reading the books aloud to my students, as well as when I give them work time, I'm just going to say, you have work time now, then I'll move on. And then furthermore, ideally in a classroom, I would have a chalkboard or a whiteboard, and as well as a smart board or clear touch to work with. Since I don't have those here in my home, I'm going to use a poster board as my whiteboard, and then anytime I hang up a printout, that is going to be the what would be on the clear touch. Okay, so with that being said, I guess I'm ready to start. Okay, class, so today we're going to learn about ladybugs. And I know some of you hear the word bug and you think of creepy crawly things that we see in nature, and that's a really good idea, but we're going to learn about ladybugs a little more specifically. They're actually a type of beetle, and a beetle falls into a bigger category called insects. And so all insects have certain things in common, and I'm going to show you those. They have 3 body parts. Oops, let me push this together. They have 3 body parts: the head, thorax, and abdomen, as well as these up here are called their antennae, and we'll talk about those a little more later on. And then 6 legs. So these are the things that all insects have. And so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and read Eric Carle's The Grouchy Ladybug. This is a fun book. I think you'll like it. Okay, so now that we read that, we learned about some neat characters, we had a good time, but we are going to learn about these characters as if they were actually real ladybugs or real aphids, and we're going to learn what some of their habits are. With this other book that I have up here on the smart board, this is called Helpful Ladybugs, and it is a real book. Okay, so after reading that book, we wrote down all kinds of vocabulary that we found throughout it. And this is what we came up with. And so we read 2 books. One was fiction and one was nonfiction. And these are words that you should be familiar with. Does anybody know what fiction means?
Pretend.
Okay, very good. And what about nonfiction?
Is real.
Right. Okay, so which one was the fiction or the make-believe book?
Grouchy Ladybug.
Okay, and then so that means that Helpful Ladybugs was?
The true book, real book.
Right, so
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction,
Yes.
very good. So I know you've been sitting still for a long time, and that's great, but you've been doing a really good job, and I appreciate that. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a brain break, so I want everybody to stand up on 3, and we're going to go back to our desk. So 1, 2, 3, row by row, go back to your desk for me. When you get there, you'll see that you have all kinds of material, and don't touch these yet. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with these and how we're going to use them. So everybody has a blue piece of paper, and right now I want you to put your name on the piece of paper for me. Thank you. And later on when you work on these, you're going to write the vocabulary words on the back as well. So we have this blue piece of paper, and now you have a green piece. You should have 2 of these. Does anybody know what this shape is called?
Rectangle.
Rectangle. So we are going to make this into a leaf. And I want to show you so you kind of have a visual idea of what we're going for. This is what it's going to look like in the end. So what I want you to do is grab this. And you can watch me at first and then do it, because this is something you might not have done before. So we're going to cut. Make these ones point. And this new shape has 6 sides instead of 4. So does anybody know what a 6-sided shape is called?
It's a hexagon.
It is a hexagon, very good. And so now that everybody has a hexagon, go ahead and cut those for me. Thank you. Now that everybody has those, we are going to take all of these sharp edges and we are going to round them so it looks a little more like a leaf. So that shouldn't take too much. Just kind of move the paper. You don't have to move your scissors too much. There we go. And we are going to glue this down. Remember, you're going to have two, so cut both out before you glue them down so you make sure that you have enough room. So I want everybody to watch. Nobody glued yet. You'll have time to do this later on your own or independently. So just watch me glue this now. You're going to take your glue stick and go around the edge and put an X in the center. Don't use your whole entire glue stick. Lay that down flat on there. Then you're going to pick up your black marker and mark a line straight through that leaf. Okay, so I'm going to practice one more shape with you before we get back into literature. So everybody pick up their large black square. This is going to end up being the body of your ladybug, and we're going to have 4 of these, but we're just doing 1 for now. So watch me and then you do it. We're going to cut off the corners. And this shape has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides this time. So this one is called an octagon. And same exact thing, we're going to round. So go ahead and make your octagons. When you're done with that, round those sharp edges. This time we're going for a circle. And I'm making a bit of a mess, but I'll clean this up later and I'll come around with the recycling bin for you to clean yours. And same thing, don't do this yet, just watch me, but I'm going to do the same thing around the edge, X in the middle. And you're gonna have 2 ladybugs on each leaf, so keep that in mind. And don't put your ladybug right in the middle of the leaf, kind of leave room for how you can fit another one on there. Okay, so very good. Everything else you're going to do, like I said, on your own. Later on, you'll have more time to work on it. This will be up here to use as a point of reference. So please gather everything, move it out of your way. We're moving on back into literature. So I want to talk about, oh, where did I put it? There we go. I want to talk about the grouchy ladybug again. We are going to summarize this story together as a class. Does anybody know what summarize means?
Telling about the story.
Right, okay, so we are going to retell it. So I just want you to help me hit the major points and the big characters that are really important. I know there's one point in the story where the grouchy ladybug meets a series of characters. You don't have to say all that. Oh, and then he met a yellow jacket and then a squirrel. It's okay if you just say he met a small animal and then a big one and then he met the whale, okay? You just need to remember what was important. So let's begin. Raise your hands. Everybody knows our discussion rules. So what were the characters in this story?
A grouchy ladybug and a friendly ladybug.
Right, okay, so how's the story begin? Where do they meet?
They meet on a leaf and they're eating aphids.
Aphids, right, and what happens between the two? Raise your hands.
The friendly ladybug offers to share the aphids with the grouchy ladybug, and the grouchy ladybug wants all the aphids for itself and becomes upset and leaves.
Okay, he does leave, you're right, but before he leaves, he asks, what's he ask?
If they want to fight.
And what's the friendly ladybug say?
She says, if you insist.
Very good. You both knew that, good job. And then, so what does he say when she says, if you insist?
Says that it's not big enough.
Okay, so when he flies away, he meets somebody else, and they kind of go through the same conversation, right?
Yes.
So then what happens?
They meet somebody, several people, several animals and insects all throughout the story until they get to the well. And then the well doesn't answer until he gets to the tail, and the tail flips him all the way back to the leaf.
That was a very good explanation. Thank you for saying that. That was very thorough. Okay, so he gets flipped back to the leaf, and when he gets back to the leaf, who does he run into again?
The friendly ladybug.
And she's nice this time. What does she say?
Still offers to share the aphids with the grouchy ladybug.
Very good. Okay, so great. You guys retold that story perfectly. We mentioned those main characters, the grouchy ladybug, the friendly ladybug, and the whale. We talked about the leaves and the if you insist. So good job. You hit all of those. Now we were going to talk about our nonfiction book again and go over our vocabulary words one more time because I'm going to give you a little quiz and you're going to need to know these words for that quiz. So let's start here. Does anybody remember what this word is?
Aphid.
Aphid. And what is an aphid? Yes?
A tiny bug that eats from the plant.
That's good. Okay, let's try another one. What are antennae?
They're the things that stick out from all insects.
Right, and what are they used for?
To feel.
To feel, exactly right. Okay, very good. So now that we've gone over all of those, we are going to, I'm going to call you group by group to go get your laptops and you're going to get on Kahoot and we're going to take a test over these words. I know that these words are a little trickier than what we normally read. So if you know that the answer is hibernation, but it's taking you too much time to read all the words, what is a really good way to know that it's the word hibernation? I know that it starts with the sound.
Sound the word out.
Right, so what's that first letter?
H.
H, okay, cool, very good. And then we have two A words, right?
Yes.
And so let's look at antennae right here and how it's different from aphid. If you know that the word is antennae, let's sound this one out. It's an, so A-N. Good. Okay. So now that everybody has their computers, I will give you the test. And this is something that you're going to do by yourself. So do not work with a partner. This is alone. Do not see the answers out loud. Okay, so very first one, we have when an insect is still growing, it's active, but it does not look like it does when it's an adult yet. We have A, pupa, B, larva, C, hibernation, or D, aphid. Do these on your computer just by yourself. Very good. Okay. Now that we've gone through all 5 of those and everybody turned those in, I'm hoping that you scored at least a 4 out of 5 because then I know that you really understand the words and you were paying attention. We are going to move on yet again. I'm going to give you more time to work on your projects. I want you to not forget to put the vocabulary words on the back of the paper and then also keep in mind that it is okay if you don't have enough time to get all 4 ladybugs on there. But you need to get at least 1 ladybug, because if you don't have at least 1 down, and you've had all this time to work, I know that means you were talking too much. So talk to each other, that's okay, but you shouldn't be arguing. Sheila shouldn't need Steve's marker. I shouldn't hear any fighting while I'm working with your classmates, because everybody has enough for themselves. Okay, so while you're doing this, I'm going to be calling you back one by one to retell or summarize the story of the grouchy ladybug like we did as a class. But you're going to do it by yourself, just to me. We're going to move through this kind of quickly, so the para is going to walk around and help you with your projects. And also, every time I get done with a whole table group, I'll come and walk around and help and see where everybody's at. Okay, so go ahead and get those out and work on things, and I'll be calling you back one by one. Okay, so now that everybody has gone and done the retellings for me, I want to kind of recap a little bit with you guys. Before we do that though, I need everybody to stop what they're doing, drop everything, tisket, tasket, hands in the basket, please. Okay, thank you. So I want you to listen to me. I'm going to come around with the recycling bin, throw everything in there, and then put these on the corner of your desk to dry. Okay, great. And at recess, I will hang them up in the hallway for you. So today we read 2 books. We read a fiction book. What was the fiction book?
The Grouchy Ladybug.
Okay, and then we also read a non-fiction book, which was Helpful Ladybugs. And we learned how to round with our scissors to make ladybugs and to make leaves, and how to curl our paper to make antennae. We also learned 5 new vocabulary words that were related to the story of the Helpful Ladybug. And then most importantly, we worked on a retelling today, and you guys did awesome. Let me tell you, everybody did great. I'm going to finish scoring your retelling rubrics while you are at lunch recess. And when I have those graded, I'm also going to put your grade from the vocabulary test on there, and you'll be able to take those home for your parents to see what you learned today. So with that being said, everybody can stand up, push in your chairs, and we will go to recess. Thank you very much. Good job today.